Credentials in action. Once your credential master list is completed, you can begin adding each staff member's credentials. Let's set it up so both the manager and the employee can create and edit credentials. From your dashboard, go to System Setup, Employees, and click on Employee Settings. Here you see the Edit Their Credentials preference. Clicking on the eye icon gives the full definition of this preference, but it basically says that if you set it to yes, then employees can add and edit their own credentials, and if set to no, then they can't and the manager must do it. My system is already set to yes because I'm going to show you how both the manager and the employee create and edit their credentials. Let's start with the manager. Go back to the dashboard and click on Manage Your Staff. Then click on Employees. Here you see a listing of all your employees. Under the Actions column on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a shield icon. The shield icon represents credentials. Choose the employee you want and click on the shield icon for that employee. A drop-down box appears for this employee and a list of all their credentials. You'll see on my screen that Abigail Washington has a credential that is expiring within 180 days. Let's pretend that Abigail recertified for her Bronze Cross and has given us a copy of her new certification, and we're entering it now. Click on the New Credentials drop-down box field and choose Bronze Cross. Then add the accreditor and the earn date. The system will generate the expiry date by adding the duration of the credential to the earn date. The system knows how long a credential is valid for based on what was entered in the credential master list. Then you click on the plus sign to add it. Above the plus sign, you'll see box icons. You click on a box when you want to archive a credential. You would archive a credential when it has expired and you've replaced it with a new one. Now let's go over how an employee would add a credential. I'm going to use my manager's account because managers also have an employee account and they can hold roles that require credentials. Click on the person icon on the upper right-hand side of the screen. And here you see this manager's user profile icon that you can click on. And once you're on the user profile page, scroll down to the bottom of the page. This is where you'll see a list of all your credentials. It also tells you if you're missing any credentials, have any that are expired, or are expiring soon. The manager I'm using doesn't have any, so let's add one. Go to the menu option on the left-hand side of the screen and click on Manage Your Credentials. And as you can see, it's the same drop-down box that we used when adding the employee's credentials. Let's just add the same credential here, which was Bronze Cross, then the accrediting body. There's only one accrediting body in my list here, but you can have more than one. It all depends on what's in your credentials master list. Data was earned, and then the system again calculates the expiry date. And then you click on the plus sign to add it. Now to refresh the page, we go out and back in, and we can see it at the bottom of the page. If I had set the Edit Their Credentials preference to no, then the Manage Your Credentials menu item would not appear on the employee's user profile, and the only way employee credentials could be edited is via the manager. Now let's talk about how the system uses credentials. As I mentioned before, when a manager creates a schedule, they'll be alerted to any credential issues that employees have. Let's take a look at a schedule. From the dashboard, I'm going to click on one of my schedules. Within that schedule, when I click on a particular shift, and then look at my staff pick list, I see a list of all the roles that this schedule uses. Let's choose lifeguards. Here I can see a bunch of shield icons, which signifies that there are credential issues. For instance, Jasmine Tucker is missing her National Lifeguard credential, Donald Patterson has a credential that is expiring in 180 days, and Catherine Morgan has one that expires in 90 days. So while you're creating your schedule, as long as you keep your credential information current, you'll know which employees have credential issues, which will help you make decisions on who should get a shift. RecStaff also keeps you informed via the expiring credentials icon on your dashboard. So let's go back to the dashboard and look at your expiring credentials icon. The icon is color-coded. It's green when all credentials have more than 90 days to expire, yellow when one or more is less than 90 days to expiration, and red when there is less than 14 days to expiry. You can also use the missing credentials listings to see which staff members have credential issues. Let's take a look at it now. Go to Manage Your Staff and click on Credentials. Here you see the expiring and missing credentials menu options. In the missing credentials menu option, you see a listing of all the credentials that people are missing, which means they've never added the credential to the system. If I go into the expiring credentials menu option, you'll see a list of all the credentials that are expiring and how many days till expiry. Under the Actions column, you can click on the shield icon and add the credential here, using the same dialog box that is used throughout the system to add credentials. Both the expiring and missing credentials menu options allows you to add credentials here directly. If you have a number of credentials that need to be added, you would do so through these two menu options. For example, when you're first adding credentials to staff, you can add them here using the Missing Credentials menu item. When setting up your system, once you've added all your staff, the roles they hold, and the credentials required to hold those roles, the system will populate the missing credentials listing with the staff members who don't have any credentials on file yet. So essentially, to begin with, everyone who needs a credential will be listed here. It's a quick and easy way to add a lot of credentials at once without having to go in and out of each employee's user profile. You simply click on the shield icon beside the employee you want, and you add the credential here. The Credentials module will be a valuable addition to your staff scheduling.